Woohooligans, it's Sam. Today is January 4th, 2019, a new year, so I thought I'd run down some of my favorite jokes from last year in front of my new DIY green screen. Isn't that nice? I hope it's working. I also want to say thanks to all the new subscribers this year, 9 in the last week. That's awesome, and I hope you'll comment so I can get to know you. If I left out any jokes that you liked from last year, let me know in the comments.
That's a bit like saying somebody doesn't support your sexual orientation if they won't let you masturbate in their kitchen. I told you, I'm mayosexual!
Oh, yeah.
But the ancient Greeks believed that if you were beautiful or strong, it must be because the gods like you, and therefore you were good. This led to one famous case in which a jury acquitted a prostitute because she showed them her breasts.
If the tits are legit, you must acquit. And then we fell in love.
Vowing and thwarting? Are you writing this op-ed at a Ren fair?
Lord Filibuster, grave news! The King tweeteth!
Did you consume alcohol during your high school years?
Yes, we drank beer. My friends and I, boys and girls, yes, we drank beer. I liked beer, still like beer. We drank beer. The drinking age, as I noted, was 18, so the seniors were legal. Senior year in high school, people were legal to drink. And we drank beer. And I said sometimes probably had too many beers, and sometimes other people had too many beers. We drank beer. We liked beer.
What do you consider to be too many beers?
I don't know.
Who wants to party?
The idea of a war taking out the unlikable people of a younger generation, that's like in one of the most famous lines from The Simpsons.
What the hell is this? It's one of those campy 70s throwbacks that appeals to Generation Xers. We need another Vietnam to thin out their ranks a little.
A couple of things. You're not 10 years old. Vietnam wasn't a genocide. No genocide has specifically targeted Gen Xers. You described a manner of death for a specific living person without altering your voice. And what am I forgetting? I'm forgetting something. Oh, you're not a cartoon. Your Honor, I admit, I dropped an anvil on the guy, but in my defense, Bugs Bunny is famous for that.
Oh, we're all on the same page there. I think it's page 1 of the best-selling book, What to Expect When You're Expecting Nuclear Holocaust.
That is why many...
Remember the beginning of this video again, where everyone is gradually becoming more supportive of free speech across the board? If, as you imply, supportive free speech is caused by IQ, and our brains are all rapidly boiling away, making us stupider all the time, then how does that graph show supportive free speech increasing? Some other factor that correlates to free speech must have increased, right? I know, we became more male. We're so male now that our toxic masculinity more than makes up for our growing stupidity. Me, Tarzan, like big guns, big boobs, and free speech. This little bit of misogyny is so gratuitous. Women are slightly less supportive of free speech when casually surveyed? That must mean that women are enemies of the state! Ricardo Saraceno writes, Samuel seems to be rather childish. Given a second chance at life, he seems to be squandering his blessing by berating someone on Twitter. So I replied to him, here's a guy who knows what's up. Instead of berating people on Twitter, I should be following his lead and berating people on Twitter. I don't have survived cancer in my bio like a little bitch. So what he's saying here is that childishly belittling people on Twitter is a privilege reserved for cancer-free people, and cancer survivors are little bitches.
You may have noticed lately that Nazis really hate being called Nazis, almost as much as they hate Jews. Nobody likes being called an asshole either, but nobody's claiming that assholes are some kind of mythical creature.
We are demographically declining as a race. 1.5 children means that tomorrow's generation is 25% smaller than today's. And I believe this is the greatest racial crime that has ever been committed in the history of mankind.
Those people have more sex than me. Genocide!
To do that, we have to call out the stealth Nazis and stop letting them say that fucking is a weapon of genocide.
Marshall Harrison writes, nice ad hominem attacks on a veteran. Blech. Ad hominem attacks are bad because he's a veteran.
He's battle-hardened, not street-hardened. Yeah, that's the real issue. Where he was hardened. You need someone who's seen some shit. Someone who knows what it is to kill a man. That's why I'm qualified to tell you Pinkie Pie is the best pony.
He clerked for Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals Chief Judge and man who's definitely going to taxidermy that raccoon for his collection, Alex Kaczynski. Kaczynski's family website contained publicly accessible images of masturbation, autofellatio, and at least one man cavorting with a sexually aroused farm animal.
Your office is full of genitalia.
Kaczynski closed the site, gave differing accounts of how the porn got there, and eventually declared a mistrial, which I'm not sure was entirely necessary. At least we knew his bias, right? Because you're either for eating poop or you're against it. Nobody's looking at the human centipede like, I don't know, what did the guy in front have for lunch?
Sequential Warrior writes, "Truth hurts, sweetie. Time for you to grow up and put away your childish tantrums. No one is impressed or scared by them anymore." It's just a movie, sweetums. It's not real no matter how much you wish it were so. Just like your dreams of being oppressed in the West. Oh, Begorra, how'd you know I had dreams of being an Irish immigrant in 1880 who couldn't find a job in Dodge City?
Or maybe if you want more respect, don't pretend that fatty boombalatti is some kind of serious social criticism from a place of compassion.
Since when are companies sort of piling on speech restrictions here?
To protect free speech, we need to eliminate the free market? Free speech isn't making sure that grocery stores buy your shitty tabloid with pictures of double D flag bikini girls waving machine guns around. Why do certain people always go back to that? Like the Chick-fil-A boycott, or whenever some pundit like Rush Limbaugh loses sponsors, they say conservatives are being silenced. Overall, Kavanaugh wants you to believe he was a 30-year-old choir boy who was far too busy studying, attending church, reading to cripples, and being canonized as a saint to have a drinking problem.
I never had sexual intercourse or anything close to it. During high school or for many years after that, I was captain of the varsity basketball team. I was wide receiver and defensive back on the football team. I worked for President George W. Bush in the White House, who was entrusted with the nation's most sensitive secrets.
I never broke the law. I am the law.
Bernard Jones writes, "Here's an adjective you didn't use. Wrong. You didn't say he's wrong. Wonder why." Oh, so the three of us agree on something. You, me, and Meyer all agree that he's a hypocrite. Frankly, some statements are just too stupid to dignify with debate. If a guy says the Queen of England is invading Mars with an army of lesbian clones, you don't demand that guy show you sources. You give that guy a guest spot on InfoWars.
Just like the Bible says, it's basically an intergalactic invasion. They're demons. Everyone already innately knows this. These people are not freaking humans, okay? Hillary Clinton is a goddamn demon.
You put your gender and your condition as the first qualifiers in your profile. If the most interesting thing about yourself are things only a census taker cares about, you are not a very noteworthy or interesting person. I should be taking notes from this guy. The alpha bun of the United States. Nationality, species, and dick size are definitely the most important things to convey in the front of a 140-character bio. Putting alpha in your profile is totally not virtue signaling. If anything, that's modesty.
They say that he's a racist, misogynist, sexist, bigoted, homophobic Nazi. So what better way to counter that than by turning him into an incredibly cute, lovable, fluffy little bunny?
Kavanaugh wants you to believe he was a 30-year-old virgin choir boy who had an occasional drink, but an army of his high school and college friends say they're amazed he was never arrested for molesting Spuds McKenzie.
Total Nazis punched by Kieran Shake, 0.
0, huh? You figured that out all on your own, Sherlock? You're on the wrong side of history, Karen. History will remember this event. February 1st, 2018. A day that will live in infamy. Richard C. Meyer was suddenly and deliberately attacked by a comedian on Twitter. We shall fight them on the Twitters. We shall fight them on the Facebooks. We shall fight them on the tubes of you.
There are text messages showing that Kavanaugh was pressuring those friends to defend him before the New Yorker published. Hey Karen, it's your boy Brett. You still got that photo? I need that photo, Karen. No reason. But if anyone asks, I was 42 when I lost my virginity. Speaking of...
Is it true that you got a degree in respecting women?
You get called a hypocrite and your response is,
Yeah, well I can make up imaginary degrees for you to have. How about doctorate of doo-doo pants?
if you're gonna insult me, you have to put some effort into it. You gotta get into my head. I wouldn't try to insult you by saying that you encourage critical thinking.
Please give us the exact number of Nazis you've punched and a brief explanation of how you make physical assault more fun.
If that's how slogans work, I really need to get some fucking Red Bull.
How many of those Nazis have you punched? I would guess close to minus numbers.
Whenever this guy sees a billboard for an attorney wearing boxing gloves, he thinks the guy literally charges into court and pummels the other attorney.
I'm Attorney Mike Costello. Call me now.
The late Justice Antonin Scalia, whose vacant Supreme Court seat should have been filled by Merrick Garland, but was instead given to Neil Gorsuch after 9 months of GOP stonewalling. Textualism is the idea that...
There's nothing a villain would target in Ohio. What are they gonna bust into the Schultz Museum in Columbus?
I'm stealing all the Snoopy cartoons! Just try and stop me!
Now you think you're a comedian? Try being funny next time. I didn't think you were a jokester. I think you were a liar. He probably does that to everyone. What do you do for a living? I'm an accounts receivable. Liar!
I'm going to assume your use of nonsense words and attempts at jokes confirm the answers to be 0 and you are not. Oh, not a comedian.
These people like Karen Shock want us to live in this neo-Taliban type of future where you can't joke. Guess what? Jokes bring people together.
Thank you, Richard. Well said.
Here's the best he could come up with. He needs to check the definitions of satire, comedy, and winning. Yes! The ultimate arbiter of comedy and satire, the dictionary!
Saddle, Sasquatch, Santorum... Oh, here it is, satire. Huh. You're right. It doesn't say going apeshit over a metaphor.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to have a chat with my staff about how they've been cleaning my lamp. I'm gonna find out where they stand on eating poop.
You claim you hate Nazis and want to harm them, but I can smell your weakness from here. I smell weakness! I'm like a weakness-seeking missile! I seek it out and I attack it online, because that's what strong people do. Browbeat the weak!
Sarah Rourke? Oh shit, that's a friend of mine. She had a deadly weapon?
This was about as militant as it got outside. About 20 protesters refusing to leave a breezeway between buildings.
Here's your deadly weapon. A cardboard sign, more than 30 inches on a side. It does look a bit wordy. Maybe she was gonna bore someone to death with it.
What changed is not some grand conspiracy to harm you. What changed is your campus hysteria.
Campus hysteria! Hysteria! The signs are too big!
Kavanaugh, very, very unfair what happened to him. Brought about by people that are evil. There are powerful forces in Washington trying to sabotage our movement. These are very, very bad and evil people. They know who they are. They will do anything at any time, and they'll never stop.
It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop until you are dead.
Fuck that bisexual prick. You are so not my type. Hashtag homophobia. No answer to my argument, so let's play the homophobic card. This guy thinks the word card is a magic spell that just makes whatever he just said disappear. Whatever adjective you put between fuck and prick is meant as an insult. You wouldn't say, fuck that knowledgeable prick.
There's been a recent surge in gerrymandering lawsuits, likely because of a surge in the practice. Notably, a GOP plan named the Redistricting Majority Project, or REDMAP, which is a bit on the nose for a publicly documented plan of corruption. The only plan more on the nose than that was the Gambino family's plan to whack Don Giovanni. They named the Stabilization of Town Deals and Things, or Stab to Death. If you claim to be the adult in the room, who's apparently skulking around behind a playpen trying not to be noticed, it's time you did some fucking adulting. You said at the beginning of this op-ed that you and others didn't want to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove Trump. But we adults sometimes have to do things we don't want to do. We're out here thinking our president is the Joker, and you're telling us, cheer up, he's this guy!
Blind, stupid, simple, doodah, clueless. The random toss. The only true justice.
I probably do agree. I think there are two Donald Trumps.
Yes, my grandfather killed Nazis. He was a war hero and a warrior. A killer. A fucking hard man. You are a soy boy. What makes you think soy is gonna insult me? Soy kills testosterone and makes you weak and effeminate. Now, if you saw one, would you punch a Nazi? Not hard. Would I punch a Nazi weakly? Well, if your science is accurate and my soy-drenched muscles are weak, then I guess I would have to.
We have done everything in our power to keep this peaceful, you know?
We're not non-violent. We'll fucking kill these people. We'll fucking kill these people. We'll fucking kill these people.
I'm armed. I do not want violence with you. I do not fucking fight with people. You know, you would have heard about it by now, right? If I was a violent guy, you would have heard about it by now.
We'll fucking kill these people.
When you say something that shatters the lies, that shatters those in power, that is the time when free speech really matters.
Are we even pro-free speech?
No, of course not.
So, I'll keep doing my punching Nazis thing, and you keep doing your thing, punching feminists. Hey, you might even have something to look forward to. I'll bet with the Me Too movement the way it is, any day now Marvel's gonna release a cover with Captain America punching Hillary Clinton.
There's a heightened sensitivity to words. You have to speak in the right way because
they're very nice to your face, and then they take a shiv or a machete and they stab it in your back. I don't like it, and I'm more of a front stabbing person.
Seriously, this is a PR nightmare.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy my comedy, obviously like and subscribe below. And there's a link down there also to my Patreon if you want to help out a little bit every month. Helps me do things like subscribe to the New York Times or the Washington Post so I can read more articles, do more research for these. I really enjoy making this comedy for you, and I plan to do it for a long time to come. I'm Sam, and I'll see you next time.